Global food production has changed more in the last 70 years than in the previous 10,000. For most of human history, the role of global food production was to increase biodiversity. With the introduction of Green Revolution, chemical agronomy found its way on farms around the world. Traditional farmers left their practices in drones in search of better productivity, less labor, more money. Monocrops like tea and coffee replaced traditional crop species. Subsistence farming, on which the farmers depended, was replaced by monocrops to be exported. With the rise in global food production, global hunger and poverty rose as well. Green Revolution is based on a narrow parameter of productivity. In India alone, 300,000 farmers have committed suicide in the last 3 decades itself. Unknowingly, the farmers subscribed to a system that was inherently unsustainable, more expensive, and ultimately detrimental to their survival. The world, in a sense, is out of balance. Half the world is stuffed while the other starves. The global fruit and vegetable production amounts to only 11%, when it should constitute half of our diets. As a result of the present system, for every dollar spent on food, society pays back double that amount in health, environment, and economic costs. Surprisingly, these costs, which amount to $5.7 trillion per year annually globally, equals to those issues related to diabetes, obesity, and malnutrition. In every corner of the world, we are pressured by a monoculture, a global consumer culture. In our current food scenario, we can go to a grocery store and buy anything we can think of, often without understanding where it comes from, who grows it, how did it get to you. We have become completely disconnected with something as basic as food. With the announcement of the lockdown, what was the first thing that you went to buy? Let me ask you, was it a car? Was it a brand new mobile phone? I don't think so. Majority of us went to stock up our food reserves. I think we are beginning to realize who and what the essentials are. At the moment, most of us depend on retailers for food. Retailers respond to consumer demands. Over the years, we consumers have demanded a wide variety of products at lower prices. Most big retailers work on the principle of just in time. For this just-in-time system to work efficiently, it has to depend on the hard work of farmers, processors, pickers, transporters who get this food to the shops. Majority of the food in urban India comes from rural India. At the moment, the rural farmers are at the front line of COVID-19, continuing to supply food to urban areas. With the restriction of movement, some of them are unable to sell their produce of this season and organize themselves for the next season. Some of the things that you can do to help them is buy as much as fresh produce as you can. Buy a little bit more of the fresh produce to donate to people who can't buy fresh produce. Find a local farmer. Connect with a local food market. Subscribe to them. Financially support small and marginal farmers so they can harvest and invest in the next season's crop. Majority of the food in urban India comes from rural India. At the moment, the rural farmers are at the front line of COVID 19, continuing to supply food to urban areas. With the restriction of movement, some of them are unable to sell their produce of this season and organize themselves for the next season. Some of the things that you can do to help them is buy as much as fresh produce as you can. Buy a little bit more of the fresh produce to donate to people who can't buy fresh produce. Find a local farmer. Connect with a local food market. Subscribe to them. Financially support small and marginal farmers so they can harvest and invest in the next season's crop. We need to change our attitudes about food, farming, and agriculture. Food is so much more than what we eat. Food is so much more than the hunger it satisfies. Food is so much more than a cultural centerpiece or an Instagram story. Food is land, food is water, food is culture, food is love, food is social relationship, nature, economics. In a sense, we have forgotten the real meaning of food. We have forgotten the power of food. Our relationship with food is broken. We need to build a relationship with nature. Food can be a bridge to build this relationship. We need to value food. We need to value people who grow our food. But what can I do as an individual, you ask? Well, you can start by taking control of growing some of your own food. Growing your own food is a liberating experience. It's a very empowering experience. When you start growing your own food, you begin to realize how complicated it is. To be a farmer is to have the highest knowledge of the geography of the place, the history, the science, the biology, the chemistry. Put all of that information together and grow on the mercies of nature. It is to master the art of uncertainty, to predict the unpredictable. It is the art and science of the highest form. And we must respect the farmer for this. We must start valuing the role of food in our life. We must stop seeing it as a mere commodity. Start by growing something. Grow one thing. If you have a windowsill, if you have a balcony, if you have a backyard, if you have a common space in the community you live, any place is a good place to start a mini food farm. You can also compost the organic waste from your kitchen. It will help you with growing your own food. All families usually have a family doctor, a dentist, but we don't have a family farmer. I believe each family should have a family farmer. Wherever possible, connect with the local farmer. Find a farmer's market. It is a win-win situation. You will get fresh food and they will get a guaranteed income. Wherever possible, try and eat as much as local as possible, seasonal as possible, regional as possible. This will not only reduce the chemicals that you ingest through your food, but will also contribute to a better environment. Try as much as possible to eat a more diverse diet. More diversity on your plate helps preserve diversity out there in nature. Learn from your grandmothers. We have an incredible tradition of eating wild greens. Revive the tradition of eating nutritious wild green edibles. A lot of us get caught up in the aesthetics of food. We worry too much about how food looks. Start looking at the nutritional value of food. I hope some of these points have helped you start your journey of an incredible, delicious, edible revolution. I wish you all the very best. All the good luck.